stabilize the situation in the coming years. Consider the storms like Irma, Harvey, and Matthew, or the nor'easters like the 3 that hit New England within 2 weeks, leaving hundreds of thousands without power in Massachusetts alone. These are the kinds of events we used to call 100-year storms, but lately, it seems like they're coming every year. Bottom line, all the power produced here doesn't mean a thing if there's a problem with the grid.
Think for a second about everything in your home that relies on
Okay, this is some kind of an infomercial to try to get you to purchase a generator for your home in the event there's a power outage. Now, power outages do happen, and that's because the controllers decided to transmit power through lines. The reason that was done is so they would be able to get more money based on the idea of service. If you're familiar with the work of Tesla, Tesla had developed a system whereby power would be generated into the atmosphere, and you basically would not need these substations and lines. Now, when the man on this program takes you to a substation, and then he talks about a power plant. Well, you never really see the power plant because basically they don't exist. Now, there are a few of them like Hoover Dam, which is basically a giant deception. For the most part, the electricity is taken right out of the air, the ether, okay? Then it is transmitted along lines for you to take into your home. Now, if we had the intelligence and the ability, we could do this ourselves. You see a little bit of this with the solar panels, and some folks that are very knowledgeable with electricity can accomplish this to some measure. But for the most part, we're all dependent upon an electrical grid system. But the good news is that if we ever get together and have some good minds among us, we might be able to figure out how to do this for ourselves. But for now, we are dependent upon the electrical lines and the so-called substations and their hokey nonsense power plants. So a question for you would be, can you get into the car right now and drive to your local power plant? Oh, you can drive to a headquarters station where they have offices. You can drive to the substations and see the transformers and various means of storing the electricity, but you will not find an actual power plant generating electricity in your community. They really don't exist except for hoaxing the public. And then once the public got into their minds that there are power plants that generate this, they no longer think about it. But I'd like for you to think about it. Can you right at this moment get into your car and drive to what's called a power plant and show me the turbines, show me the generators, the huge ones? No, don't take me to the office where the secretaries exist and the treasurers and the executives. Don't take me there. I want to go to the power plant. Well, it's a plant, all right. It's been planted in your mind that it exists. They do not exist except for show purposes and deception purposes, such as the Hoover Dam. And I remember bringing this up to someone, and I remember that was the only argument they could give me is, well, what about Hoover Dam? Well, you know I don't give a about Hoover Dam. But anyhow, electricity is in the atmosphere. It is available to whoever can harvest it and bring it into their lives, bring it into their home. Now, someday, maybe, we, the common people, might be able to do this if somehow we all got together and said, the heck. Now see, that's the substation. That's not a generator. That is not a power plant.
And even cyber attacks. You need to be self-reliant. You need to be able to generate your own power.
You know you're going to have a situation where you're going to lose power. And maybe tomorrow, maybe a year from tomorrow, but it's going to happen. Several years ago, Mary's parents moved in with us.
My father has Alzheimer's disease, and he cannot remember.
Okay, it is just an average commercial with some logic trying to convince you to purchase one of their generators, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is not to put down this company and not necessarily to put down this ad, except the one deception is when the gentleman conducting the advertisement talks about substations and power plants. He only stands by the substation, which is where the power is stored, the electricity is stored. But he will not take you into a power plant because they really don't exist except for show purposes. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me and viewing my videos. God bless you all. End of video.